Good afternoon, everyone. Well, at least it is here in the Scottish borders. Good morning to those in America tuning in for the first time today. I woke up this morning to really did enjoy the latest video by Andrew Whitehead. I can't help thinking, just when we're getting confused as to how many RAV4’s there are. Is there one RAV4? Is there 2, 3 or 4 RAV4’s? Not only is there now confusion as to how many RAV4’s there are, I'm also confused as to how many Richard Eugene Boyds there are anymore, because that now makes 2 Richard Eugene Boyds out there on the airwaves doing his stuff. And I must admit, you have to take, I think you have to take Richard Boyd with a little bit of a pinch of salt. He's a bit tongue-in-cheek, and Andrew Whitehead's video this morning, which I enjoyed, was absolutely brilliant, fantastic stuff. And I know, Andrew, that even Richard Boyd himself enjoyed it, because he sent me a message to say so. And I think one of the things with Richard Boyd is that he's sort of ploughed his own furrow, if you like. He's gone it alone. He's done his own thing, and he just wants people to sit up and pay attention. Which brings me on to our next character, Mr. Chad Keller. His latest announcement that he's now saying that Stephen Avery is guilty of sin is purely for attention. Unfortunately, Chad burnt so many bridges with so many people, and there were a lot of people trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, trying to give him a second chance, and he just wasn't interested. But he craves the limelight. He craves attention. You'll notice, for example, I think just about every video that everybody ever does with him, he has to move around, he has to be in different positions. It's almost like he's posing for the camera. He's not the only one. There are others who I have since ceased wishing to do any videos with, because they also seem to think it's a good idea to just wander around and just take up different poses and stuff. You know, if you're going to come on as a guest, sit still and talk to the camera. It's not rocket science, you know. I like the way that Foul Play do their videos. You're sent instructions in advance. It's crystal clear. Speak when spoken to, and it makes for a really good presentation. Anyway, so as I say, Mr. Chad Keller, absolutely sure he just got fed up of being ignored. So the best way of trying to raise attention for himself and say, everybody, look at me, is to do something a little bit controversial. Although maybe he's just trying to infiltrate the Guilter community. It might just be a bit of a ploy by Chad. Anyway, we wish him all the best in whatever he does. Okay, I know for a fact he doesn't seriously go along with this Stephen Avery is guilty of sin. As I say, it's just a bit of a stunt, a bit of a publicity stunt. And you know, there is an argument that says, you know, maybe we shouldn't even talk about these things. Well, for me, transparency is everything. Which brings me on to the latest sort of mini debate that's going on. We discovered a few days back, I saw a tweet from a member of Foul Play to say that they had managed to secure, through the Freedom of Information Act requests, all of Brendan Dassey's prison phone calls. And immediately, some people have said, well, they should be suppressed. They should not be made public. To me, that is problematic, I must admit, because we want transparency. We don't want to end up in a situation where, you know, things are being withheld for any reason. Unfortunately, Steve and Brendan are where they are. Their phone calls are recorded. I would point out that if anything was incriminating against Stephen or Brendan in any of those phone calls, you can rest assured that the state would have highlighted them long ago. Both phone calls that were made before the trial in '07 and any calls since. Of course, we've got the famous, in Making a Murderer 2, the famous three-way phone call between Steve and Barb and Scott Taddick. And how revealing was that particular phone call? Apparently, Brendan has expressed his wish that these not be made public. I might be wrong, but I don't know that it was ever announced that they were going to be made public straight away. I think we have to give Foul Play a lot of credit and say, look, they've got the stuff. They're as far as I know, they're going through, listening to what's on there, and there might be stuff that is very important. Now, you know, I can certainly trust them that anything that they find of any evidentiary value, they are going to be straight on the phone to Kathleen Zellner and Stephen Drizzen and Laura Nyrider. One wonders what Steve Drizzen and Laura Nyrider think about Brendan's phone calls being made available through, as I say, a Freedom of Information Act. And if there's one thing that we do look up to America for, is the fact that they do have these Freedom of Information Acts whereby stuff is available to look at and scrutinise. As I said, if there was anything really damaging to Steve and Brendan, you can bet your bottom dollar that the state would have used that a long time ago. So it's interesting, isn't it? You know, we do sometimes have this debate amongst the truther community as to let's put it this way. Is it possible at some point in the future that in the efforts to free Brendan Dassey, that in some way damage was done to Steve's chances or Steve's case? And I think from what people have told me is quite simply, look, Steve Drizzen, Laura Nyrider, they've got to do what they've got to do for their clients. They cannot be worried about what happens in Steve's case. One gets the sense that Kathleen Zellner is very much working the way she is working to get both Steve and Brendan out. You know, she realises how important that is. I also sometimes get the sense, and I might be totally wrong on this, but I sometimes get the sense that you've got the lawyers at the Innocence at Northwestern. You know, Pritzker Law School Legal Clinic, Stephen and Laura. And I don't know if they're quite the, shall we say, that have quite the budget that Kathleen Zellner has. One wonders if, we hear that, this was a while back, that Kathleen Zellner had spent over $600,000 on this investigation so far. I don't know, maybe there are people out there that think that money would have been better spent on a few other Innocence Project cases. Personally, I think the Stephen Avery wrongful conviction is going to be the biggest case ever to hit America. Not just Manitowoc, not just Wisconsin, but America in general. It's going to have huge ramifications and going to cause lots and lots of things to change. So yeah, I have in the past mentioned about the fact that I'm not sure if Drizzen and Nyrider and Kathleen Zellner exchange Christmas cards with one another every year. We're told that they do keep in touch. One wonders what about. As I say, one of the things that sometimes gets put forward is, you know, would Brendan, if offered, would he take an Alford plea? That would be, I think, quite damaging. Well, I just don't think he would. But you know, we wait and see what his lawyers are trying to do there. But as I say, as far as the phone calls are concerned, I think if there is stuff that's of public interest, then unfortunately, you know, as I say, Steve and Brendan, you are where you are. This is the law. People can ask for this information. This is purely my own speculation. One would imagine that if there's nothing damaging towards Steve and Brendan in those phone calls, then perhaps one of the reasons why certain people do not want these phone calls being made public is because it casts other members of the family in a not so pleasing light. Anyway, I'll endeavour to leave the link below to Andrew's great video. And also this morning, I was very pleased I received the book written by Radley Balko. As I say, it arrived this morning. I've got it over there somewhere. Nope, can't see where I've put it. Anyway, it's arrived, and I look forward to reading through that. And I would like to thank DB Cooper for alerting me to the fact that it was available on Amazon. What I'm on about Radley Balko has done some articles about Dr. Michael West, and he's written a book, and he's an investigative journalist for the Washington Post. So I look forward to reading that. Strikes me as being Radley is another John Farrack, and there can't be any harm in reading what they have to say on the subject. So thank you, DB Cooper. I seem to recall that a while back when I was looking at doing a video about book reviews of Ken Kratz's book, because obviously there's no point buying the rubbish. But I was alerted to the fact that you can get genuine purchased books. You can get people who have genuinely purchased the books doing book reviews themselves, and I'm sure that DB Cooper's was one of the reviews that I covered in the video. So thank you to DB Cooper. I think maybe DB Cooper should come on and have a chat with me sometime. But yeah, well, you never know. Let's keep fingers crossed, eh? Talking about having a chat shortly. My 10 o'clock tonight. That's 4 o'clock Central Time, Wisconsin. That's 11 o'clock for Jerome on his French Wrecking Crew channel. I'm going to have a chat with him about the part 1 of the Trial by Media documentary, looking at the Jenny Jones show. Just to say that we have had similar shows here in the UK. Appalling stuff. You know, it just beggars belief that people want to watch that kind of garbage, but unfortunately they do. Jerome was telling me that in Belgium they don't have anything as grotesque as those type of shows. Anyway, so as I say, looking forward to having a chat with Jerome. So I think I've covered everything. Andrew, great video. Chad Keller, don't know what I think I know what your game is, but I'm not sure that you're going about it quite the right way, unless there is something that's that you're trying to do sort of underhand. So let's wait and see. As I say, the debate at the moment, Brendan jail calls. As I say, to me, it just feels wrong if people are asking for stuff to be suppressed. That's the one thing that really annoys me about this case, is the lack of transparency. You know, if people are going to help, then they need to know what we're dealing with, in my opinion. And you know, this idea that you know it would hurt Brendan even more. I don't think anything can hurt Brendan more than where he is at the moment, and any change in that situation, anything that leads to a change in that situation, must surely be a good thing. But maybe other people have got different opinions, and that's what we welcome and respect, isn't it? Different opinions. As I say, looking forward to having a wee chat with Jerome, and thank you to DB Cooper for alerting me to the book. There, I think I've covered everything, and in less than 16 minutes, so that's pretty good going by me. We'll catch you all again soon. Bye for now.